you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the time. We're going to focus today on our professional development offerings, talk a little bit about why PD is so important, and just answer all the questions you might have in terms of how to kind of customize a program that's right for your unique needs and how to get the most from your budget that you have for professional development. So to begin with, my name is Glenn Collins, and I'm an executive here at CDI Computers, and I have the responsibility for trying to help our customers get the most out of the technology they've acquired from us in the classroom. So I work a lot with partners like our professional development partners, the EdTeachTeam folks, who you'll hear from shortly, in hoping to construct programs that are right for our customers and as cost effective as we can possibly be, so that you get the most out of your technology. And joining me shortly will be Lisa, who is the Senior Director and for Teaching and Learning at EdTeachTeam. Lisa, and I'll let her give you a bit of her bio, but she is ex-educator. If that is something you can be an ex of, I'm not sure. I think once you're an educator, you're always an educator, but that's her background. So she'll speak probably in better terms than I am in terms of how PD impacts the utilization of the new technology in the classroom. Certainly, we're having a lot of conversations with organizations about some standard PD, and then lately we've got a lot of questions about STEM and trying to weave STEM into STEM teaching, I guess, or STEAM teaching into a variety of subjects. So I'm going to ask Lisa to focus on a little bit on that as well. You do have the ability to make this interactive. There is a Q&A or a chat box available to you. So for those of you who are participating, unfortunately, we do this format. We can't have too many people talking because it just cuts everybody out. So we have to do it digitally, but you are more than welcome to enter your questions, and we will do our best to respond to them as quickly as possible. If there's any questions that come up that we don't have an answer for, we will commit to get back to you within 24 hours of the session. We will and can share these slides with you, although unlike some of the webinars we do, I don't know how much of this content is relevant, but if you're interested in getting a copy of the slide deck afterwards, we're more than happy to provide that to you. So I just talked a little bit about the agenda. We shouldn't be more than half an hour. I want to spend a few minutes just talking about why PD, although I'm guessing if you've taken the time to join us today, then you probably have a pretty good idea of the impact that professional development has. And but maybe I can give you some content that you can share with your peers or internally to help promote an investment in professional development. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about our offerings in very broad terms, give you an idea of some pricing, etc. And then Lisa's going to talk a lot about content, how we customize it, how we can create a curriculum specific for your needs, how it's delivered, really kind of the quality of both the content and the instructors. And then we'll just talk a little bit at the end about what's next. And again, I encourage you throughout this process to interact with us through questions and or through the chat box. So without any further ado, why professional development? And again, for years we've been selling technology into schools, and only really in the last 24 to 18 months, or 18 to 24 months, I guess, have we seen a radical impact in terms of the way we engage students differently using that technology. And for a long time, the technology was put in the classroom, and there wasn't a lot of emphasis on changing the way we taught, changing the way we engaged students, changing the way we used it. It became an electronic blackboard, if you will. And part of that, I think, was there was a reluctance for teachers to utilize it in a different way because nobody spent the time or energy or money, quite frankly, to provide the appropriate professional development. And truly, if you understand the pedagogical practices of using technology in a classroom to instruct in a different way, then you're going to get substantially more out of your technology investment than you would by buying it and dropping it in the classroom and wishing the instructors well. So professional development is not just how to use the device or how to use the device or how to use a specific application on the device, but it really is about learning how to teach differently using technology. So there's a big difference in the way that people implement new instructions based on the amount of professional development provided and the amount of coaching and support that's provided to the instructional staff utilizing that technology. And these are all research studies that have shown all of these great outcomes, if you will. So, and again, it's the pedagogy of a learning-centric experience using technology that you can reinforce, you can teach and reinforce using professional development. And it has been lacking where we've seen technology deployed and hasn't had the same kind of impact on learning outcomes as we'd like, despite the massive investments, because I think a lot of it to do to this missing element. So we see a long-lasting and very impactful change in the school itself and the facility itself and the way the learning outcomes when they actually build the funding and the culture around the professional development that's required to get the most out of their technology investments. And obviously, investing in the right technology and utilizing the right technology, the technology that you'll be using in the classroom is the road to go. So that's just a little high level, kind of my take on what I think is important and why I think it's important for professional development to take place. Again, I think some of this is rather obvious. I thought I'd spend a couple of seconds just talking to you about CDI computers. I promise this commercial won't be very long, but I think for those of you who are not familiar with us, we are one of North America's leading providers of technology-based solutions into the education marketplace. We've been in business since '81. We've got more than 10,000 customers throughout North America in the education marketplace. Our mission really is around, obviously, we want to sell technology. We want to get as much technology into the hands of organizations as we can. But the reality is the better that we provide you with the ability to change learning outcomes and to improve learning outcomes, the more cost efficient the technology becomes, the more utilized it becomes, and the more required it comes. So our mission is really to help improve learning outcomes, utilizing cost-effective technology with our education customers. We're a full-service organization. We sell, we created what we call the EduGear ecosystem, which is a ecosystem around a multi-platform devices, so whether they're Windows, Apple, or Chrome. We created a full set of professional services around those devices to help utilize them in the classroom effectively. That goes from deployment to recycling to all the elements that are required for educators. But then the one area that we focus a lot on is professional development, and that's really what we're talking about today. So that's my CDI commercial. I'll tell you a little bit about our offerings. Some of them we do ourselves, and most of them we do jointly with EdTeachTeam. And then I'll turn it over to Lisa to talk about the nuts and bolts of what it is they do. So we have a number of interactive workshops. Primarily our workshops that we run from CDI are IT focused. So we do focus on a number of programs like Kickstart, which is really folks who are moving from one platform to Chrome, either Apple or Windows, and they want to know how to transition effectively. So we have a program built around that. We also we do some fundamental work around G Suites and Google Classroom, as well as some of the management tools that we provide like GoGuardian and Puro. And all of those are done in a asynchronous, interactive web session with an instructor, and we walk you through those processes. And it's a cost-effective way for us to provide you with that kind of training. We also have a full line. We partner with Lisa and her group to offer a full line of certified training online for a variety of subjects. And I'll let Lisa talk to that, but you can acquire that through us, and that will save you some money off of the regular pricing. We provide a bit of a discount to our customers, but it's a full suite of products that is teacher, single teacher at a time utilizing it. in self-paced, etc. And they have several hundred, I don't know, maybe that's too many, but Lisa will tell you how many modules they have. But there's great coverage there as well. And then we have instructor-led workshops that are usually customized. We try to keep the crowd size to 25 to 30 teachers. It's delivered by Lisa, and she'll talk in detail about it as a customized curriculum. And it is, they also do courses with, so we're talking to some folks yesterday about doing some STEM work where it's not just the teachers, but we actually come out and do a workshop with the students and the teachers, showing the teachers how to utilize the STEM in whatever subject they're trying to teach. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Lisa to chat and talk a little bit about what they do in her program. So jump in.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, thanks, Glenn. So as Glenn said, my name is Lisa Thuman. I work full-time for EdTeachTeam. I am located in New Jersey, and EdTeachTeam is located, our offices are located in Irvine, California. We're a company that is put together of, we just hired our 40th full-time employee, 40 former classroom teachers. So we have all either taught in the classroom, or we've been, first in the classroom and then an administrator in the district, or even a technology coach or something like that. I have been doing, I joined the education field in 1998. I was a classroom teacher, and then what I did is I did public outreach for higher ed institutions in New Jersey, pushing into classrooms, working with teachers and students. And then I came to EdTeachTeam. And what I love to do, my favorite part of working with EdTeachTeam, is I meet with districts and help them put together a strategic plan of rolling out professional development in their district. So everybody on this call has probably at some point in time gone out of their district or school to a workshop, or had somebody come into their district or school to present a workshop. And what I work with districts to do, as Glenn alluded to, is to design what meets your needs. And we do have a catalog that CDI will share with you of about 200 full-day workshops. And they're content-focused or tool-focused, or towards a certification, a Google certification, a Microsoft certification, an Apple certification. But my favorite thing to do is to have a call just like this with district leadership to help figure out how we can help teachers improve teaching and learning in their classroom. And that's typically not a one-day workshop. That's typically, for us to grow as educators, that one-stop workshop is not always the solution. Now, if we're coming in to teach a specific tool, if we're coming in to do a STEM workshop and to teach you how to use little bits or something like that, that's great. But if we're looking for school change, and to change the cultures of our classrooms when we're moving one-to-one with devices that we've purchased through CDI, we need to plan a map of 6 to 9 months worth of professional development, where that trainer, that certified trainer that comes in to work with you or your staff or your colleagues, has an opportunity for a full day of professional development to build that rapport and teach the tools, and then an opportunity to push into your classroom and to work with you and your students, and then to come back a few more times so that you can improve, you can hone, you can iterate, and learn more. Glenn, did you want me to talk about our online programs that we sell through you?
Yeah, please. I mean, I pointed out that they could buy them through us. We'll provide them with the link to see it, but I think from a content perspective, yeah, it'd be great.
So absolutely. So a few years ago, our director of online learning at EdTeachTeam realized that there was 3 different kinds of needs for online professional development. Number one Sometimes it's cost prohibitive to bring in somebody for the day for a group of 25, when really you only have one or two folks that need some professional development on a tool or a topic. So we started building these, we call them just-in-time courses. They're 15-hour courses, and you can take them at your leisure. So you could take them on a Sunday morning for a few hours for 3 or 4 weeks in your pajamas while you're drinking your coffee. Or you can do an online group study and take them in the media center or library in your school after school for a few weeks. Whatever works with you and your schedule and your lifestyle. Those courses are built, they're asynchronous courses, meaning that you don't have to be sitting there at a specific time. You're not actually interacting with anybody but the moderator of the course, because you have coursework that you need to submit and have assessed. So we built this set of courses around G Suite tools. So there's a Google Drawings and Slides course. There's a Drive and Docs course. There's a Getting Geeky with Google Spreadsheets and Forms course. But then we started to realize that there was a real need for content area specific online courses. So we have a course that's built specifically for math teachers using G Suite. And we have a course that's about to launch, the same for science. And another course for geo tools and how to make your classroom a global classroom with access to teachers, educators, and experts all around the world. And then the final type of program that we built, in addition to the STEM programs that we do, is called our Teacher Leader Certificate. And it's designed to look at all of the pieces of future-ready schools. So we're talking about designing learning spaces. We're talking about student agency, how to empower our students more in the classroom, and of course, just good teaching. And that's a cohort model that you go through with a cohort of about 30 plus educators, and you do meet synchronously, and we bring experts in as guest speakers and everything. So you can purchase those online courses through CDW at a reduced rate, actually, but they're great.
You meant CDI, right?
CDI, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Through CDI, actually, Glenn, CDI is the only company that reseller that we sell our online courses through at a reduced rate currently.
So it wasn't just a slip, it was a mistake, right?
It was a mistake, actually.
All right, perfect.
CDI. So the other thing that I was going to say was that those online courses coupled with face-to-face professional development can be a great thing, especially with districts just going G Suite for education. Glenn, is there anything else that you wanted me to talk about?
Yeah, I think maybe the process, touch a little bit on the STEM programs that we talked about yesterday with Pittsburgh, just in terms of what you're seeing in the marketplace. If anybody in the audience is interested, what kind of steps they might want to take. We're getting a lot of people who know they want to do something, they're just not sure how to start.
Absolutely. And you know what we find, and I think Glenn could agree with me on this one, is that districts have the funding to purchase the STEM materials. Maybe it's set up a maker space or a portable maker cart, or they've bought little bits or drones or, a 3D printer. And they have this wonderful technology at their fingertips, but unfortunately, they're not quite sure the best way to use these tools with students and how the activities with these tools tie in with the objectives of their curriculum. So I brought my colleague, Kern Kelly, into a conversation yesterday. Kern's an educator in Maine, and he works for EdTeachTeam part-time, but he's still very much working for his district full-time. His students actually co-authored a book with him on G Suite for education and getting activities that you could do with your students. But they also travel the world working with students at events that we do where we come in and we work with the teacher and their class. And we look at different types of STEM activities with regards to math, with regards to science, language arts, and social studies, and how we can use these tools. It's a different mode of learning. It gets our students hands-on. And when we think about coding, we think about those 21st century learning skills, how, you know, a lot of industries that our future graduates are going into are going to be using some form of coding or scripting or 3D printing. I mean, everyone take a minute and think about just the medical field right now and how 3D printing has created all of these opportunity for prosthetic devices. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the idea of customized professional development. And how do we determine when Glenn or someone else from CDI and I are meeting with you and your team, how do we determine the best course of action moving forward with regards for professional development? And we do two things. One, we typically ask to pre-survey the folks, the educators that are going to be attending the professional development, because it's silly for a presenter to come in and do a scripted workshop when we could find out what those participants already know and a little bit of insight into what they don't know. We find out the grade levels and the subject areas that they teach, and how frequently they use digital technologies with their students. And that way we can customize the agenda for the day or the agenda over the course of 3 to 4 days of customized professional development. Ben, I think I covered everything.
I think, yeah, we don't beat it to death. I think I haven't seen any questions come in, so we appear to be answering any. So again, I encourage folks to send the questions. We are recording this session and are happy to share it with anybody that attends. And so you will get a link to a recorded version of this in the next 24 hours if you wanted to share it with anybody at in your organization.
Glenn, can I add something before we wrap up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. What I see, and I talk to 4 to 5 districts every day, helping them plan and helping them figure out what they need. And our partners like CDI make that so much easier for me because they've already spent time with you. They've probably been into your district or done some type of video conference with the leadership in your district, helping you determine the hardware that you need. And then we all work together to figure out how to make sure that those technologies are actually being used, because we can buy thousands and thousands of Chromebooks or MacBook Airs or Windows laptops, whatever it might be, and have them in the classrooms ready for a one-to-one deployment. But unless the teacher is comfortable deploying them within their room and the leadership of the district knows how to model and what to look for when they go in to do their formal and informal observations, we're never going to move forward into that device becoming that third appendage for that student. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, that professional development and making sure that your educators feel supported and that your administrators are prepared to support them is key in adoption.
Agreed. And wherever we could tell you that there's empirical evidence to see that when we go back to organizations who, as part of their deployment process, built in the whole concept of professional development. And I think from a good news perspective, we're seeing more and more districts invest money now in this so that the teachers can feel comfortable utilizing the technology in a way that it's really designed to be used. So if there's any other questions, please send them in. Otherwise, we're probably going to wrap up. I guess what I would like to say in terms of what's next, if you are participating in this, you will get an email tomorrow with a link to the presentation, although there's not tons of content there, but it does give you some facts you can use and the recorded version of this webinar. So hopefully that will save you trying to communicate this effectively, apparently, which I can't do, to others in your organization if you want to. We do have the ability at CDI to help you through that process, help you plan it with Lisa and her team's help. We can often come up with some pretty creative solutions. And again, our focus is trying to get as much for your professional development budget as possible. So without, any questions, I thank you for your time, and from everyone here at CDI, and I know all the folks at the EdTech team, we thank you. Hopefully you got some value out of today. Have a great day. We'll talk again soon.